Hey Lorain County Wrestling fans, welcome back to another edition of the Matt Report, brought to you by Cobos Insurance Center. Before we get going, remember Cobos Insurance is locally owned and they are very proud supporters of the high school wrestling scene here in Lorain County, so please consider Cobos for all your insurance needs. Let's dive right into things. What has happened in this past week? We'll start in the Lorain County League, where congratulations have to go to Columbia head wrestling coach Dan Giuliani and his Raiders. They finished the Lorain County League dual season a perfect 7-0. So a big shout out to the Raiders for that. They knocked off Keystone late last week to capture that solo conference crown. So a big congratulations once again goes to Columbia for that. In that duel against Keystone last week, the Raiders got off to a very hot start. They took 5 of the first 6 bouts. Diego Morales, though, got some life back into Keystone's side. He got a win midway through that round, but the next 3 would go to Columbia as the Raiders pull away and again capture their Lorain County League Conference Championship. So congratulations to Columbia. One of their star standouts this year, Garrett Zuck, he finished 7-0 individually in Lorain County League action, so congrats to him. We've talked about some of the other usual suspects over there at Columbia, like the Cole Schulkes of the world, guys like that, but big shout out to Garrett Zuck, 7-0 individually in Lorain County League action this year. Firelands as the defending champions, they finished second on the year at 6-1. Keystone takes third in the conference at 5-2. Black River, Clearview, Wellington, Brookside, Oberlin, all following suit after that. Speaking of Firelands, congratulations to their senior wrestler, Ruben Pina Lorenzana. If you missed it last week, he's out the rest of the year. Unfortunately, a bad knee injury for Ruben. But he'll be good to go next season over at Cleveland State University. He made his commitment, so congratulations to Ruben on that. Also out of Firelands, Connor Rogers. He's committed to go wrestle at Baldwin Wallace next season, so congratulations to those pair of Falcons for making their college commitments this week. Now, one of the biggest stories from this past week was actually on the girls' side, as we've talked about a number of times this season with the girls' wrestling scene here in Lorain County really picking up. They had the second annual Columbia Girls Invitational, and this was really cool just from a number standpoint, quite frankly. Last year with the first edition of this thing, there was 27 teams and 75 wrestlers, so certainly not bad figures for the first edition of this thing, but for the second annual Columbia Girls Invitational, 33 teams, 134 wrestlers. So dang near doubling last year's output in terms of total wrestlers. So pretty cool stuff happening with that Columbia Girls Invitational. Excited to see that thing grow and grow and grow in years to come. They actually had a team from Pennsylvania come in and win the thing. That was North Allegheny. So shout out to them coming over all the way from Pennsylvania. I guess it's not that far, but still coming over from PA to participate in this. Pretty cool. Couple of local champions as well as far as the individuals went. At 100 pounds, Riley Banyas from Elyria. She gets the individual title there. That's her second time. Well, she's a repeat champ basically at this Columbia Invitational for the girls. So congratulations to Riley. Another college commitment for Riley Banyas. She's committed to go to Campbellsville and wrestle next year for them. So congratulations to Riley for a pretty eventful past week for her. At 105 pounds, again back at the Columbia Girls Invitational, Lauren Ficker out of Vermilion. She took second place, actually. Sarah Napier at 115 pounds, another repeat champion. She won this thing at 110 pounds last year. She knocked off Lydia Gold, who won last year's at 120. So this was a pretty cool championship bout that they had at 115, and Sarah Napier from Columbia edges out Lydia at home. So a shout out to Sarah for that individual championship. That was actually a rematch between Sarah and Lydia from just a couple of days earlier at a quad duel. So Sarah, a nice past week for her as well. At 135 pounds, a first place finish for Rajan Al-Hashash out of Avon Lake. Sage O'Brien took third out of Keystone at 135. At 155, Kaylin Demigol from Columbia takes third. And then another title here at 190 pounds out of Firelands. It was Emily Lorenzon. The best team out of our local schools in terms of team placement at that Columbia Girls Invitational. It was Vermilion. They finished 5th overall as a team. Back on the boys' side in the SWC, Avon picked up a dual win over Midview this past week, 41-31. And I want to talk about Avon for just a split second here, as there was a great article in the Chronicle Telegram from Sean Bennett talking about the relationship between Eagles senior Riley Atkins and first-year head coach Mark Jane. You know, it's not always easy for a senior to adjust to a first-year head coach when they've had a different kind of mentor figure in that role for the previous 3 years, but Riley has really taken a liking to Coach Jane and vice versa, and they've really helped benefit each other this season. So a great article from Sean, again, in the Chronicle Telegram. I encourage our viewers to go read up on that. Pretty cool stuff there. In the SWC, though, Avon Lake still a top dog at 6-0 in conference action. Avon is second at 5-1. Midview's at third at 4-2, as is Amherst at 4-2. And then Olmsted Falls, Berea Mid Park, and Elyria all at 2-4. North Ridgeville still looking for their first conference conference dual win. They are sitting at 0-6. Back to Avon Lake for a quick second. Shout out to Jack Marconi. He was 6-0 in action in this past week. The SWC website actually named him their wrestler of the week. So we've talked about Jack a couple of times this year. I know our viewers are very familiar with that name, but congratulations to Jack Marconi. A very nice week of action for him out of Avon Lake. And Elyria had a nice past week actually as well. They picked up dual wins against Amherst and North Ridgeville as first-year head coach Armando Torres gets his guys ready for state tournament action here in the coming weeks. Connor Holman, Keon McKinney, two Pioneers really hitting their stride at the right time of the season. So there's kind of what's been going on. Again, conference duels finishing up. They're done in the Lorain County League as we look forward to the Lorain County League tournament. I believe that'll be next week. The SWC still has a little ways to go, though, in their regular season. National Signing Day was this Wednesday, so I believe the Chronicle Telegram will have more up on that with wrestlers and all kinds of other athletes making their college commitments this week. So congratulations to all who made their college commitments on National Signing Day. Again, you can find more in the Chronicle Telegram on that. We also had a pretty cool duel in the school this week. I'm very curious to see how this all turned out. This is over at Avon Lake. Keystone going to Avon Lake to wrestle the Shoremen, basically in front of the entire student body. So very cool duel in the school. This is supposed to be a week or two ago. Got snowed out, so they moved it to this week. Very curious to see the results from that. And more SWC duels this week, like we talked about. Amherst and Avon will square off. Elyria and Midview, and then Avon Lake and North Ridgeville. So a lot of SWC action to look forward to this week. And again, that Lorain County League tournament, as I mentioned, that's actually next weekend, so we'll have more on that in next week's episode. So that pretty much does it for this week. For Kristen Bauer behind the camera, I am Rocco Nucci, your host, saying thank you for watching another episode of the Matt Report, brought to you by Cobos Insurance Center. We'll see you guys next time.